Hey friends, welcome to Little Bitty Noggins. Today we are going to be making these adorable little chocolates for Valentine's Day. So the shapes that we're going to be making today are this oblong shape here, a round chocolate here, and our square chocolate here. I'm going to teach you how to make all three. All right. So first off, what you're going to need is a pair of scissors, an F hook, a yarn needle, and for this I used three main color yarns, and then the hearts I did with some pink. So we've got this medium brown yarn here, we've got this darker chocolate brown here, and then we have this cream yarn here. So these are going to be our bases for our candies. Now there are three different patterns we're going to be using. All of them are done in single crochet. There are some back loop only rounds in each of them, but we will go through those when we get there. And all right, so give me 1 second and I will be back to show you what we're doing. All right, so the first one we're going to do is this circle candy. For this, we are going to take our crochet hook, our F crochet hook, which is a 375 millimeter, and we are going to make a magic ring. So for me, the way I make my magic ring is I wrap my yarn around my fingers and I tuck the loop and just pull it through. Put my hook into that loop, grab my working yarn, and I yarn over like so. So for this, I'm going to chain up 1, and then we are going to do 6 single crochet into our magic ring or magic loop, depending on what you call it. So we're going to do our 6 single crochet. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there are 6 single crochets, and then we're going to take the tail of our magic ring, and this is the magic part. We're going to pull it until it's nice and tight in the circle, and we have the perfect magic ring and nice tight center. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the first stitch that we are going to work into, and we are going to increase 6 times for a total of 12 single crochet in this round. So here's our first increase, there's 2. Here's our second increase, there's 4. Here's our third increase, there's 6. Here's our fourth increase, there's 8. Fifth, and there's 10 stitches, and then our last increase, and we've got 12. So for this next round, we are going to do 1 single crochet into 2 stitches. So we're going to single crochet 1, single crochet 1, and then in the next stitch we're going to increase. So there are 4 stitches, and we are going to do this a total of 4 times. So next one a single crochet, next one a single crochet, and then we're going to increase by 2. There's that. So there's 8 stitches. There's 9, 10, and then an increase 11, 12, 13, 14, and then an increase 15, 16 in the same stitch. So here is the top of our round chocolate. And now for this next round, you can see here there's a little bit of a barrier, right? That's keeping the bottom of our chocolate from the top. And the way this is done is it's worked in the back loop only. So when you are looking at your crochet edge, you see a loop here and a loop here. This is your front loop, the one that's closest to you, and the one that's furthest away is your back loop. if you work into your back loop, it almost creates a fold, which helps with the definition for the top of our chocolate. So what we're going to do is we are going to do 16 single crochet all the way around in the back loop only. So we take our hook and insert it, pull up a loop, yarn over, and make our first single crochet. And we are going to do that all the way around for 16. Alright, and there is 16 stitches. And next, we're going to go back to working in both loops, and we are going to do 3 rounds of 16 for a total of 48 single crochets. So I'm just going to run through and do the 48 single crochets real quick. All right, and there is 48. So next what we're going to do is we're going to decorate real quick. So what you can do, you can take a different color yarn. So like for this one, I used this color yarn on this darker chocolate color. And for this one, I used a different color yarn. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this cream colored yarn that we're using for our white chocolate for our white chocolate candy. And we're just going to take about 2 feet of yarn, and we're going to thread our needle. And for this, what we're going to do is we're just going to find an outer edge that's pretty close. And what we're going to do is we are going to make some straight lines, right? Just basic sewing in and out through the inside to the outside, and then down into the inside again. And then from this point, we're going to take our yarn needle, and we're going to find the next spot that we want it to come out on for our next chocolate strand, and then find its spot to go into right there, and then find the next spot and weave it out. And these don't have to be perfect, because chocolate, unless it's like super good chocolate, it's not perfect. And then what we're going to do, so we have our 4 kind of crooked lines. It's okay. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect unless you make it perfect. I'm just making this for fun, so I'm not too worried about how it's going to look. And then we flip our chocolate right side or inside out, and we're just going to tie a quick knot like so. Cut the tails off, flip ourselves back right side, and then we are going to start our decrease. These little, I thought those stickers were a good idea because they're cute. They're just sticking to things. Okay, so for our decrease row, what we are going to do is we are going to do 2 in the back loop only, because we're going to make this ridge on the bottom. In the back loop only, we are going to do 2 single crochet and then a decrease. So 1, 2, and then a decrease here, like so. And we are going to do that again 2 single crochet and a decrease in the back loop only, 2 single crochet and a decrease, 2 single crochet and a decrease, like so. All right, and for the next rounds we are just going to, in the both loops, we're just going to do decreases. 1, 2, 3, 4, and before we do the last 2, we are going to grab some polyfill, which I have forgotten. Give me one moment. All right, and we're just going to take a small bit of polyfill. It's not a whole lot, just like a little ball, and we are going to insert it into our chocolate to give it a little bit of stability and support. And then we're going to do our last 2 decreases. I always try to wait till the last minute to stuff my amis because I don't like it when the stuffing gets into the stitches. Like, I don't know if y'all can see it, but like that. I don't like how it looks and it drives me crazy, so I wait till the last second. All right, and then what we're going to do is we are going to go into our next stitch like so, pull up a loop, pull it through the working loop there, yarn over, and create a slip stitch. Cut our yarn, pull it nice and tight, and then here's the chocolate. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to take our yarn needle and we are going to weave it in and out of those last 6 stitches to form a drawstring like so. Pull it nice and tight. Go in and out of a couple more stitches like that, and then knot it off. And then what you can do is take your yarn needle and just go into the core of your chocolate, pull it almost out the top so your tail is in there, and then snip it off. And then you have got a super cute round chocolate. All right, for the next one, we're going to do the square chocolate, and I'm going to do that in the cream color here. So for the square chocolate, we are going to be doing not the same thing, but we are going to be working into the back loop only and all that fun stuff. This yarn is something else. All right, just want... Okay. Sometimes these yarn balls get a little bit tangly. Let's see, where is the end? There's the end for the core of it. And we want these 2 little loopies here to be over like so. All right. And then we're going to take the core and stuff it in there like that. Okay, so now we have our working yarn ready to roll. Okay, so for this, we are going to make our magic ring again, and we're going to do 4 single crochets into the magic ring. So there's that, and then 4 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to pull our magic ring closed like so. And then what we're going to do is into each of these stitches, we are going to put 3 single crochet. So basically what we're doing is we are making 4 corners. So there's 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, and 9. Oh, come on. There's 9, and then 10, 11, and 12. And you can actually see how it's already starting to form a square. So for the next round, what we're going to do is we're going to do a single crochet here, and then we are going to do 3 single crochet in the next one. Again, that's our corner. And then 2 single crochet in the next 1, 2 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, 3 single crochet in the next one, 1, 2, and 3 all in 1, 1 single crochet in the next 2, there, 3 single crochet in that corner, 2 more, 1 single crochet in the next 2, 3 in the next one. It's a little confusing. And then 1 single crochet into the next stitch. And we've made it all the way around. So I know you've probably noticed how there's 2 single crochet here, 2 single crochet here, 2 single crochet here, and then only 1 here. If you remember, at the beginning of the round, we did a single crochet before we started that corner. So our 2 single crochets are here and here. So now we are going to start working down. And the way we're going to do that is, again, in the back loop only. So we are going to insert our hook into the back loop, and we are going to single crochet around for 20 stitches. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and there's 20. And now we are going to be working back into both loops, and we are going to go around twice. So we are going to make 40 single crochet. There's 20. And then there is 40. Okay, so we pull our loop out a little bit. You can see there's our little square chocolate, and we are going to do a quick decorate of this guy. For this one, I'm going to use the darker brown yarn, the dark chocolate look. And we are going to take our yarn needle, and for this one, I think I'm going to do some diagonal stripes. So I'm going to take my yarn hook and start in this area right here. Insert my hook here, pull it out, place it back in there. But before I pull it all the way through, I'm going to find the next spot where I want my yarn to come out, which is right there. And then we're going to insert the hook, or the needle, sorry, here, and find our next spot where we want the yarn to come out. Do the same thing here. Find our next area like that, and then place it in there. As you can see, I'm trying to stay inside of the lines here, and that's just to make it look a little bit neater. So now what we're going to do, we're going to flip inside out, take our 2 yarn tails and tie a quick knot, snip off any excess, and then flip ourselves back right side out. And we are going to start our decrease rounds again in the back loop only. So for this, we are going to single crochet 1, and then we are going to decrease 3. So 1, 2, 3 to make a corner. And we are going to single crochet 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to decrease by 3, 1, 2, 3. Just like in the beginning, we increased 3 in 1 stitch. We are decreasing 3 in 1 stitch. All right, and then 2 single crochets, decrease by 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, decrease by 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1 single crochet at the end there. So we have our decrease row with our little edge. And for the last row, we are going to decrease by 3 4 times in both loops. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then before we do the last 2, we're going to grab a little bit of polyfill and stuff this chocolate real quick. So again, small amount of polyfill, and then just push it into that hole like so. And then do our last 2 3 stitch decreases. 2 and 3, and then 1 more time, 1, 2, 1 more is 3, and then we're going to insert our hook into that next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through the working loop, yarn over, and pull out our yarn. There is our square chocolate, and we're going to take our yarn hook, or our yarn needle, which still has the brown yarn in it, and we are going to close up the bottom. So to do this, we are just going to again weave through in and out of those last 4 stitches like we did for the circle, except it was 6 stitches. Pull it nice and tight. Put our yarn through, make a good knot, and then insert our needle and pull it through some of the stitches up top, snip it off, and then we've got our square chocolate. Put that to the side. And now the last one is the oval chocolate, this little nuggety looking one. And for that one, we're going to use the dark chocolate yarn. So pull that out real quick. So all of these yarns are worsted weight yarn. So you could use Red Heart Super Saver, you could use like a Loops and Threads basic yarn, you could use the yarn from the Dollar Tree, the Premier basic yarn would work as well. So yeah, any of those would be great for this project. And you don't have to use browns and creams. You could make colorful, chocolates. The sky's the limit, guys. All right, so for our last chocolate, this little guy here, we are going to be chaining 6. So we're not working in a round here, at least not yet. All right, so we're chaining 6, and then we are going to do 2 single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So we got 1, 2, and we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. After that, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 3. So we got 1, 2, and 3. And into this last chain here, we are going to do 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. Then what we're going to do, we're going to flip our work. And we are going to work into the back side of these chains. So we're going to find the first one here. Come on. And we are going to do 2 single crochet here. So 1 and 2. And then we are going to work down the opposite side, 1 single crochet into the next 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And into that last stitch, we are going to do 2 single crochet. So total, we should have 14 stitches. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so for the next round, in the next 2 stitches, we are going to do 2 single crochet, so 2 increases. So let's, we got 1 increase, 1 and 2. And then the second increase, 1 and 2. And then we are going to do 3, just 1 single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then we are going to do 2 single crochet into the next 4. So 4 increases here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. And then we are going to single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 2 increases into the next, or 1 increase into the next 2 stitches. All right, so there is the top of our oval chocolate. For the next round, we are going to be single crocheting into the back loop only around, and it is 22 stitches. So let us start that just into the back loop because we're making that ridge and angling our chocolate to go downwards. Okay, there's 11. Oh. All right, and there is 22. Yeah. All right, so there's 22. And now for the next 2 rows, we are going to be working into both loops, and we're going to do 22 stitches around. So here goes 44 stitches. And there is 44. All right, so now we're going to do a quick decorate of this guy, and we are going to use the medium brown yarn for that. Let me get a little bit of this yarn real quick. Just snip a piece, put it to the side. And then take our yarn needle, and for this one, I like how this has the diagonal. So I think we're going to do that for this as well. So we start about right here, pull the yarn through, stitch up, get that edge. Oh, my yarn needle fell off. There we go. Right, and we're just going to continue the trend, and you could do these any way you want to. You could do smaller little bits and make sprinkles. You could use rainbow yarn and make even prettier sprinkles. There's all kinds of ways you could decorate these. I'm just doing the bare bones, easiest chocolate. But y'all could use beads if you wanted to make them shiny, or you could use like a sparkly yarn to give it a little bit of a shimmer. All right, there are so many different things that you can do to make these beautiful. All right, so this next row, this is row 6. We are going to be working again in the back loop only, and we are going to do 2 decreases right here. 1, 2 decreases, like so, and then 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to decrease 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do 3 single crochets. Did I say double crochet earlier? If I did, that is not what I meant. I meant single crochet. And then we're going to decrease again twice after our 3 single crochet. All right. Now we've got this decorated. We've got our first round of decreases in, and we are going to do our last row, and then we're going to stuff. So for our last row, we're going to decrease. We're going to do 3 single crochet, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to decrease 2 times, 1 and 2, 3 single crochet again. Come on. And then 1 decrease at the end. All right, and there's that. And we are going to insert our hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull it through the working yarn, loop, yarn over, pull up your yarn, snip and pull the yarn through, tighten up that knot there, and we are going to take some stuffing, stuff our little buddy here. We didn't need to stuff it before the last round was finished because the hole is a little bit bigger for these than it was for the other ones. All right, so we got it all stuffed in there, and we are going to take our yarn needle like so, and we are going to again weave it in and out of these stitches, creating a little bit of like a drawstring like so. And then we are going to pull it nice and tight like that. We are going to weave our yarn needle into a few of these stitches. Then we're going to insert our hook into that loop that we've made and pull it tight for a knot. Take our yarn needle, slide it through, pull it nice and tight, and then cut off our end, and there is your oval chocolate. So with this tutorial, you have learned how to make an oval chocolate, a square chocolate, and a round chocolate. Hopefully in the next tutorial, I'll be able to make a yarn, like a heart box for your chocolate. I'm working on a pattern for that right now. I look forward to creating more content for y'all. It has been great so far. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. As always, like, commenting, sharing, all of that stuff helps so much with the algorithm. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing y'all again next time. Happy Valentine's Day. Bye.